with the right to extend to other jurisdictions as authorized thereby and the reverse thereof. When in fact, when his evidence was, really all I want to do is just provide it from Charlottetown to New Brunswick and back. Well, what if somebody in Bathurst, Edmundston, or something like that calls him up and wants to do a charter service? He's not prepared to provide that service to those particular jurisdictions. So he's come in on what I would call a fishing expedition. I want everything, but I'll take a little bit. If you can give me a little bit, I'm happy with a little bit. But even a little bit isn't viable. So there's no evidence of any need for charter service. There's no evidence that the public is not being adequately provided with service up to the present time. Now, I appreciate that there's a work stoppage right now with Acadien lines, and that's an issue which is ongoing. But if they are, and when they become off, when they are back operating, there will be no need for any additional service. There are no complaints. We didn't hear any evidence from the public saying they're not being adequately served or haven't been adequately served. If anything, we heard evidence that Acadien, the existing carrier, is providing excellent service, and we certainly didn't hear any service of any need for any charter operation. The safety concerns were addressed by the Van Angels. I'm not going to go into that. I point out the cargo and carriage, that we don't have rates at all before the board for what he's going to charge for parcels. He says he's going to carry parcels, but I don't know what the rates are. There's nothing before this board, how competitive they're going to be, or even if they're actually going to be competitive. I don't see any need for this particular service, and not the type of evidence that would be substantial. When the board looks at section 4.4 of the Act, which is the primary section to look at, they have to look at the interest of users of a public transportation service. The evidence of Mr. Morin from Acadien Lines was clear. They've suffered significant financial losses exceeding $2 million a year recently. Declining ridership, underutilization of equipment, a third to 40% of their equipment is being utilized. The viability of this proposed service over the long term is just not there. It will have significant, and I reiterate, significant adverse effect on the licensed carrier Acadia. And I can point out to the board that if this application is granted in the form in which it's been applied to, or something similar to that, that may result in Acadien Lines making an application to withdraw its service in this particular jurisdiction. It's not something that the board wants to face, or that the public in New Brunswick wants to deal with. And so I point out to you that if he takes away 10 passengers a day from Acadien Lines based on those routes, that's going to have a significant adverse repercussion to their service, and as a result, it just will increase the loss and the lack of profitability. So one has to look at the effect on the New Brunswick economic and social development, and that's a serious concern that this board has to be aware of. Not only does it jeopardize possible employment of Acadian drivers, it also cuts down on service that might be otherwise available and provided by Acadian.